Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course, make sure you do check out the Discord channel. The link to that is linked at the top of the chat, and of course, in the description below. You cannot miss it. Join discussions, chat with other traders, including myself, in the Discord. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out. And of course, you can find your discount opportunities and learn a little bit more about the Elevating Traders prop firm as well. So check it out if you haven't done so already. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. We'll start with USD as always. We'll go through what is going on in the world of DXY and seeing how that is impacting markets. We do have some news this afternoon, so we could see a bit of movement. I know it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so we might see a bit of a slow end to the week, but maybe today we see a bit of momentum with the news in the afternoon. But what I can say is with the DXY, things are still looking moderately bearish in terms of hanging on to that 107,500 area on the weekly chart. It doesn't look like price is seeing a break of that just yet. I know it's only midweek. A lot of things can change, but because of Thanksgiving on Thursday, they're probably going to have a slow Friday as well. I don't see the momentum unless it comes today. I don't see that bullish momentum breaking through that level, at least for this week anyway. Maybe next week something else. And then we've got NFP on next week Friday, so that could be interesting. But at the moment, it looks like price is still doing a pretty good job at holding onto this high. And although we did see, am I on the right one? No. And although we did see a close above the high here, it's not convincing. It's not something that I would be looking at breakouts myself. I want to see some really strong, convincing closes above that area. As you can see, it's not really getting that. And of course, this week is looking pretty bearish. Like I said, it's only midweek. That candle could look different by Friday. Probably will look different by Friday. But so far, it does look like momentum is fading at the highs. And the market's pretty stretched anyway. So a pullback is definitely needed. And rejecting that level could be the area that does give us that pullback we're looking for. So dropping down in the 4H chart, I've been speaking about this potential head and shoulder pattern. That looks like it's slowly coming into play. I still do want to see a bit more weakness for USD, preferably a break of structure as well be really great. And then the corrections and the continuations will look good. So like some longs on Euro, longs maybe and ends the USD as well will look good. And if we can get that right shoulder, there probably is going to be a big drop there for the DXY because, like I said, hitting a big level, range high, 2-year range high, really. So if we are going to sell off from here, we could go a long way down. I was speaking about this area a couple of weeks back, never got the retest. Potentially now is the time to go and get it if we do see that continuation maybe this afternoon. So USD, I'm still kind of looking for a bearish bias. So that I'm not really looking to trade any USD pairs this week, to be honest. So it's not really something I'm focused on myself, but if we do see a strong break of structure that takes out this low, that would make me interested in some pullbacks and some shorts, and of course longs and some of the USD majors. But at the moment in time, it looks like we are slowly getting that head and shoulder pattern, which means price is failing to break 107, which then means I'm expecting a lot more downside. So push back to the high here, 105.3 is a real possibility. Even this area here as well, around 104.6 is a possibility too. So keep an eye on some downside there for the DXY. Switching over to Euro, we're seeing pretty much the inverse of that. Again, still haven't really seen much momentum with Euro. All this week is pretty much just consolidation. So it's been a little bit of a slow one. But if we can see a push to the upside, some momentum, again, breaking through that high, I think there could be some really nice long opportunities. Again, just basically inverse of the dollar. We got the left shoulder over here, the head, and of course the right shoulder. And again, you can see where we're trading. The location of it is trading at a very pivotal swing low in the weekly chart, which of course lines up very well with the DXY too. So if we are going to bounce, this is the area we're going to bounce from most likely. Of course, price may break out, and if it does, I'll reanalyze and switch my bias and talk about opportunities to the downside. But we're not doing that just yet. Market's respecting that low. So at the moment, I am looking for a bounce to the upside. And if we can get a strong move like that, especially breaking through the high here, just above 1.06, I think the pullbacks afterwards will look really, really good. And again, similar to the DXY, targets back at this low here, potentially even this low here at 1.08, which we spoke about a lot yesterday, about the median of the range. So if I go to the weekly chart, if you look at this as a massive range, and the highs there-ish and the lows here, around 1.08 is the middle of the range of that. And of course, you can just use the Fibonacci, and it pretty much lines up with the 50%. So there's a good chance we could see a push into the 1.08 if we do bounce at that low as well. So there's a lot of upside potential for euro and some buying opportunities, but development is needed. I wouldn't be looking to buy just yet, but it looks like we're on that direction, on that path. In terms of pound USD, of course, pound USD similar pair to euro USD. If euro is going to bounce, pound's going to bounce 9 times out of 10 as well. But again, I'm more interested with the shorts with pound USD. I did talk about some sells in the retest of this area this week, which had some nice reactions earlier on. Monday, nice reaction. We filled the gap to the downside. Didn't quite get to the lows, but nice bounce nonetheless. If you're on the intraday time frames, probably still held a nice short there. And again, we did have nice reaction as well yesterday as well. I wouldn't bet on that level again because number one, the market's still stretched. USD looks like it's losing some strength as well, which means pound USD might push up. So yeah, I wouldn't be looking to advocate for more sells in pound. If we were going to reject this level and continue, I would expect us to have fallen by now and taken out these lows. The fact that we keep coming back to that same level is a sign that probably we're going to see a break above that. The area I'm still interested in with pound USD is still this level over here. I still do like this level for a short. Again, I did say I don't think price is going to get here, but if we do see a bit of weakness for USD, potentially next week, we could be actually trading near enough those areas. So I wouldn't write off that opportunity completely. I still think it's a really nice short opportunity. Again, with pound USD on the daily chart, I still think there's some more downside back into the low here, especially with all the momentum we've seen over the past few weeks. And a correction to this area looks really, really good for a short. As I said yesterday as well, key structure has been broken. Swing low there as well, taken out. Swing low there, taken out. Swing low here, taken out. So price has been taken out. Very, very important lows on the way down. So support has just been void and the market has not respected it at all. Therefore, on a pullback, there's a good chance we can find resistance and continue that trend, especially with momentum that we've seen recently as well. So if we can get that pullback, we'll be looking for some shorts, and that's still the opportunity I'm eyeing up for pound. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one bit sideways, I think. Yeah, so we had that double top early in the week. Really nice opportunity for a short. We came back into the low. Again, in terms of intraday trade, that would have been a nice place to short from. Now price is respecting the low there a little bit. I wouldn't say there's much to do. As I've said, I still do expect Aussie dollar to hit this level before we do see a major bounce. But in terms of trading, the opportunity is difficult now. The shorts look good early in the week and even last week as well. Now that price is respecting support, I wouldn't be jumping into shorts, and I wouldn't be looking to long yet either until we get there. So for me, Aussie dollar is a little bit in limbo right now. Neither trading at a great area to short from, and neither trading at a great area to long from. And even if we were to get back to that resistance, similar to pound USD, I wouldn't be looking to short again for a third time, just because I would have expected us to break through that low now. If we get back there a third time, we might see a reaction, but we probably will see a bigger push to the upside at that point. So I'd watch out for that. It's a bit more range play than anything. I do like the buys, however. If we were to see a break to the downside and get to 0.64, I think that could open up the doors to some really nice long opportunities. Because again, the market's still pretty stretched, coming back into a major swing low. We probably are going to see a bounce here. It might not continue all the way back to the highs there, but again, we're probably likely to see a bounce, and we've got this low here to contend with as well. If that first area doesn't hold, this area could give us the bounce similar to what ends the USD is doing, which it broke through that first level. But as you can see, it's having a really nice reaction at that second. So the first level here, we broke through. Second area here, we just about tapped into it, and now we're having a really strong reaction this morning. But ends of the news had a big part to play in that. But nonetheless, price is looking pretty bullish now. So again, with ends of the USD, you can see how corrected the market is, very descending in manner, which is a characteristic of a market that is likely going to break to the upside. So I do expect this to push on. In terms of finding opportunities to trade it, that's where it becomes a bit difficult. I wouldn't want to be looking to buy the market now because we're coming into the up end of the channel. We've just had a reaction off that low. Stop loss placement is going to be very, very tricky. You could put a stop loss underneath here, but your stop loss is just going to be very big and you're going to need a big move to hit a decent risk to reward. So I would want to at least see a double bottom there to even contemplate a buy. And then we can talk about some entries to take it up again. In terms of areas where we can target, I would be a little bit careful. So I'll be looking at kind of these swing highs here as targets. I think if you can get an entry down there, you're looking at a healthy risk reward anyway for ends of the USD. So that's still an opportunity which I do like. Still expecting a bounce for ends of the USD, but looking already very, very bullish. And maybe we might not see that retest, but if we do, keep an eye on that. USD CAD, of course, has been very bullish as well. Being moved to the upside, we're slowly coming back down. But the key thing for me on dollar CAD is what we're doing in relation to this weekly level. Price is still holding above it. So to me, this is looking like a break and retest. I want to see a bit more momentum. If this candle can close up there, that'll be a really strong sign going to next week that, we really have broken through this level and we're likely to continue. If we do leave a big wick to the upside, it still becomes a little bit because if we see next week's candle close right back below, then that just becomes a big fake out, and then I'll be very, very short bias with dollar CAD for the remainder of the year potentially. So yeah, dollar CAD is still in that limbo. Still need to see a bit more momentum. I think the short-term opportunities on the low time frame still look good because we're still seeing a lot of momentum, still seeing higher highs and higher lows pretty consistently. So as we said last week, the breaking test of this level looked good. Nice push to the upside. I think retest of this area here look equally as good as well for a buy. Again, I would be a little bit cautious, not trying to shoot for the moon. If you get a trade back to the high, I think that'll be a great trade. But I'd also look at potentially this high on the left as well as maybe a target to lock in some gains on the way up to the high. But overall, dollar CAD still pushing to the upside. I like the bullish structure. And I think this is a nice place to be looking for some buys as well, around 1.4, big psychological level 2. And of course, you got your lovely gold and silver. Last time I checked, gold's looking a little bit bullish. It's coming back into this area, which was the area I said I'll be looking to buy from this week. Looks like we're coming back into that level as resistance. Haven't seen much momentum since the drop early on this week. Price was respected that low pretty well. We have seen a nice push, but I want this to kind of continue a little bit further and look for some opportunities on the retest of that same area. That really was the level I was going to focus on this week, and it still is, but I want price to be trading above that. Overall, I'm still just about bullish on gold. It's not really the best market trade anymore for me anyway, so I'm not really actively looking to take buys, to be honest. The buys earlier in the week, if you saw the retest of that level, would have looked good, but because of all that bearish momentum has definitely skewed things for me. In terms of silver, I'm bullish as well. It looks like it's still having a bounce at that same area, which I bought from a couple of weeks back. Again, like I said, I want to see some more upside for this one before I look to get back into any trades. I want to see some evidence of a bullish trend forming, some higher highs and higher lows. We did break structure over here, which was nice, but we haven't really seen much momentum since that. So if we are going to continue to the upside, I want price to remain in that bullish structure, giving more higher highs and higher lows. And then I'll be looking for some pullbacks at some point as well for a trade. So yeah, very bullish on silver still, bullish on gold still, at least focusing on the technicals anyway. But yeah, just don't have an opportunity to trade them at the moment, or a good one at least. I know price is coming back into the same area which I bought from a couple of weeks back, but it's not looking as good anymore. So I'm not interested to jump in. But if we see something like this, that would make me interested. But as I said earlier, I'm not really looking to trade the USD pairs this week. It's not really where my attention lies at the moment. I'm always focusing on the best trades possible. Not really seeing the best trades possible with the USD pairs at the moment. If something does develop with the DXY and maybe see a strong move down, maybe that could change things. But at the moment, still not quite seeing that. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's well. Welcome. What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Ninad, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Today, expect dollar to be strong after the news. Yeah, that could be the case. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the news. I'm not really eager to trade the USD markets this week, as I just mentioned. Not really where my focus lies. Maybe that could change next week, but at the moment, not really interested with the USD pairs. Jay Fenner, what's up? Hope you're doing good, my man. Will, what's up? Good morning. Oh, look at that. Will showing some lessons in oil. I'll have a look at that after the stream as well. Rob, what's up? Good morning. Still holding CAD Yen? Yes, I am. The entry was a crime scene. Nice. Well done. Congratulations. Passed my validation stage 1. Good to hear, my man. Keep it up. Hey, what's up? Follow the trend. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Tom? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Oh wow, won the Edge Finder tool. Congratulations. Some trivia questions. Well done. Played well there. Blessing, Euro Yen, Dollar Yen. Okay, we'll have a look. See, no problem. Follow the trend. Had a question about CTO-JPY. Okay, we'll take a look at CTO-JPY as well. Tom, yes, still in CAD shorts. Last time I joined the stream, yeah, I'm still in CAD Yen shorts. I did secure 50% of my positions at the low I was talking about. I'll go through it in a second. But I do have 50% of my position remaining. I'm trying to see if I can swing that all the way back down to those weekly lows, really, because if momentum is going to continue from that bearish leg in July, which is what I'm expecting price to do, this could be a very, very big winner. I'm looking to see if I can get it all the way down here, which is optimistic, but I think in terms of price action, it makes a lot of sense, because if this is our bearish leg, if this is the top for the yen pairs, which is what I've been looking at it as the top for the yen pairs, I do think that this is just the correction for price to come back into the low. And because I've caught the trade right at the top here, it means that I can just trail, be a bit loose with my trail, not going to be aggressive, and see if I can swing it back down to 103, 102. Which is a pretty big move. But I have scored 50% of my position as we came into the low yesterday. Yeah, so I did secure 50% here around a 1 to 2. I have left 50% trailing. This is where my stop loss is trailed to, by the way, 109.702. Just above that zone. I'm going to give as much room as it needs, really. So I'm not going to be too aggressive, but the plan is to see if I can get it back down to that low, which would be about a 780 pip move, which would probably be one of the biggest trades I've ever had, really. I don't think I've had much bigger than 780, if I ever had. Yeah, look and see if I can swing that back down to the low. Momentum's the key thing as well for the yen pairs, because when we drop hard. With the yen pairs, we kind of have slow grinds to the upside most of the times, but the sells are normally very, very hard and fast. So I'm hoping that we can kind of just keep this momentum up. There'll be a few corrections here and there. I'm still looking to see maybe if I can find an additional trade in the retest of this low. So that's still something I'm looking at to see if I can add to the trade. But overall, I am looking at a lot more downside for CAD Yen. I'm pretty bearish on the yen pairs. It looks like we're finally starting to see some yen strength coming into the picture. So if that is here to stay, then yeah, I'm looking at continuations. And the goal is the basically continuation of that drop in July. If that is, price turning the trend from bullish to bearish, then the chances are we're going to come back into that low, and the chances are we're probably going to break through the low. But don't want to be too greedy with the position, because we could very much bounce there. But yeah, overall, CAD Yen still looking pretty bearish, and I still expect a lot lower prices with this one. The only negative thing about this is just the negative swaps, really. But because I've already secured some positions with this, I'm not too bothered with that. It just eats at the profit a little bit. But yeah, hopefully momentum can continue. We'll go through some of the other yen pairs as well. Euro yen, dollar yen, CHF, JPY. Yeah, I think yen's where the focus is because that's where a lot of momentum lies at the moment. New Zealand yen, Aussie yen broke out their consolidation as well. So that is very, very big as well for some shorts. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure you're trading Euro yen as well. Yeah, got a short from 162.557. Okay, we'll take a look. Aiming for 156. Did I say 56? 156. Okay, I'll take a look at that as well. Tom, talking about 780 aim for 1,100 pips on gold. Yeah, to be fair, I probably have done more than 780 because of some of my trades on gold. I completely forgot about gold's pips, to be honest. But yeah, gold's got a ton of pips. So yeah, in terms of the other yen pairs, we'll start with euro yen. So yeah, euro yen, really strong move to the downside as well. This one's actually been falling a lot better than CAD yen, and just because CAD suddenly became pretty weak on Tuesday or Monday, I can't remember, is why CAD yen starting to get the ball rolling. And of course, and now recently we've just seen JPY just become strong. Euro just always been pretty weak for the past couple of weeks now. But yeah, really nice bearish structure here, consistent lower lows and lower highs, which is the key thing for bearish structure. As long as we can remain in this, I'm looking for price to keep falling. I did say yesterday it would be nice for a retest of this area to see the next lower high and hopefully a continuation of of that bearish momentum. Looks like the market was just a little bit too bearish. We didn't see that pullback there. The market did have some type of pullback, but just not enough to see a test of that area of confluence. And now we're falling out the sky. But again, with euro yen, it's the same situation as CAD yen in terms of we've got a massive drop there in July. To me, that looks like the top of the trend here. It's always a bit dangerous to try and call tops and saying what the top is, but you can just tell that the characteristic of this move is very, very different. And where we're trading as well in the higher time frames, it's an area where I do think we can sell off. You can see where we're trading. Massive swing high over here. We've just about pinched the high. Look what happened last time. We just pinched the high over here on the left. We just pinched that high and we absolutely melted. I think price could do something similar. We've just pinched the high again. I think we can see a pretty big move to the downside, or at least the correction. Back to retest this area here, maybe just still a big move in itself. So to me, euro yen at a place where we can sell off. Really big drop there in July, and now I think we're just seeing the correction of that. So I'm looking for price to get back to. Let me just clean the chart. I'm looking for price to get back to this kind of area here, which is around 155, 154. You said you're looking at 156. So yeah, I expect price to get there anyway. The only difficult thing is that because I think you entered, where did you enter? 162.557. 162.557. Okay, you're pretty far up, to be honest. I thought you entered a little bit lower. But yeah, the only thing is, will we see a pullback that might, tag you out the trade before continuing? That's the only kind of danger here. Because I think in terms of probability, there's a very high chance we do get back to the lows here. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but there's a good chance we do get there. It's just whether euro yen will have a deep pullback, which might take out positions. But then if that's the case, you can always look for re-entries. As long as we keep up with the bearish structure and we don't break it, if you do get trailed out, you can always look to re-enter the market. As long as we respect structure. But in terms of momentum, looking really good. Coming back into this low here, might see a bit of a bounce there, which might cause the next retracement. But I really do see price getting back to 155, 154. So very, very bearish on euro yen. If you're looking for opportunities to get involved, depending how far we continue, this could be a nice low to look at for some retests. If this momentum can sustain, that could be a really nice trade for an entry, a really nice area for an entry. And look to get involved and take it down further. You don't have to necessarily be looking for 155, 156, or 154, but that's just the direction I'll be expecting price to move in. If we do pull back, let's say from here, you could very much look for a short just back to that low and call it a day. But yeah, I do see euro yen still falling to the downside. If we drift over to pound yen, I still do see pound yen pushing a lot lower as well. Pound yen isn't as clear as some of the other yen pairs, I must say, because with pound yen, we have such a big correction. We haven't really seen that with the other yen pairs. So although if this is the top for pound yen as well, I do expect us to come right back into this low, which is a very, very long way away. And which means there should be some really nice opportunities to short pound yen too, because we're probably not going to just fall there in one go. We could do it's the yen pairs, but most likely not. We're going to have a pullback before that, most likely. So in terms of opportunities for that, I like the low here. I also like the low here as well for some retests and some pullbacks into those specific areas. 193, 193, 500. I think that looks like a nice place to short from. Again, you got the lows here to contend with. That could be a nice first target. And then you can be looking at 183, 182 potentially as well, depending how aggressive you want to be for your targets. But overall, pound yen, I am very, very bearish on. Really nice bearish structure from earlier in the week and last week as well. So the idea, as long as we maintain that, price is likely going to keep falling. And again, it's the same story. Massive bearish leg, looking for the correction, the continuation of that bearish leg. Looking at dollar yen, and then I'll go over to CHF JPY. Dollar yen did see some nice downside today as well. Of course, yen being a little bit stronger, dollar being a little bit weaker. USD isn't really weak, I would say. It's just a bit weaker, but it's just weak enough to see a pretty strong move now. I'm still not really interested with dollar yen, even though it's another yen pair and a yen pair, which I do expect to follow the rest. This was really the level I was looking for price to hold dollar yen at. And dollar yen was at one moment in time the yen pair, which I was really eager to trade if we were going to reject this level, but we didn't. We broke through. So now I do want to see price give me a strong push back underneath to tell me that that was a bit of a fake out. We're back holding this level as resistance, and we can see some continuations to the downside from this, because if that does come into play, then I'm looking for us to come right back down into the support level at 140.878. So there's a big move to be had there for dollar yen as well. But at the moment, this massive area on the weekly chart is actually support rather resistance. So yeah, if I'm looking to short dollar yen, I do have that massive area in the weekly chart to watch out for. I still think the shorts do look good. It's just watch out for that weekly level. If you can pull back into this area here, I think that looks like a really nice place for a short, but I wouldn't try and be too eager with the trade, because we very much well balanced at that weekly level we just mentioned. If you can get a short back into the low here, I think that's a great trade. You got your lower highs now, 1, 2, looking for the third one. Pretty short lines up with some nice trend line confluence. We've broken through structure now. This was the prior low, which gave us a strong move to the upside. We've gone and broken through that. So structure's broken, momentum's looking good. We broke out of that long-term bullish trend line as well. So we were testing this area multiple times, finally seeing a strong break of that as well. So there's a lot of boxes ticked here with dollar yen in terms of expecting more downside now. And this looks like a really nice place to find some shorts if the market's going to be kind enough to pull back, because you don't want to be shorting down here really. So yeah, dollar yen, pretty bearish bias, expecting more downside. I do expect it to copy the other yen pairs really. The yen pairs, they move as a unit. If one's bullish, they're normally all bullish really. So if CAD yen, Euro yen, pound yen is going to see those drops, dollar yen's most likely going to follow suit as well. The only thing in terms of the technicals, the higher time frames, I don't like the level we're coming into until we break back underneath that. Dollar yen's not really a yen pair which I'll be looking to get involved with. And I'm not really looking to get involved with any other yen pair apart from CAD. Trying to find some additional entries to that one. But yeah, dollar yen looks good. A pullback to 153.5. Keep an eye on that if we do see that pullback. And I think CHF JPY as well. That's just had a nice break of structure too. Yes, just breaking through that low there as well. So some really nice momentum, really strong move to the upside from this low, big area of demand as well. We did consolidate here for a few days, really strong push to the upside. We very well could have bounced here and tried to continue the trend. Market didn't hold it. We've broken through. Now things are looking pretty bearish with CHF JPY. So now that we've got the break of structure there, I think that does open up the door to a lot of downside. Again, if this... there we go. If this is going to be the next lower high, then there's a good chance we're coming right back to the low here, which is around 166. So this could be a pair to look at as well. A lot of downside opportunity. Very consistent with the lower highs. Nice double top there. push down as well, another lower high, another push down. So in terms of short opportunities, I do like this area here, a pullback, retest that level, and then again, Bob's your uncle, expecting more downside. As long as we're not breaking through structure, that's the aim here. I would say as long as we don't break through the high at 174, pretty much from the dot. As long as you don't break through 174, I will keep that bearish bias there of CHF JPY. I expect this to keep falling. And yeah, there's a long way to go. Of course, there are some multiple areas you can look at before 166, but that's just where I expect the market to be heading based on higher time frame information. But yeah, CHF JPY and the yen pair breaking structure, consistent lower lows and lower highs, expecting a lot more downside. Pullbacks is the key thing, really. If you're looking to get involved with the yen pairs, if you're not already in a trade, you're looking for your pullbacks. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys have broken out of their respective ranges. Hallelujah, that's what we're looking for. So if I go to the daily chart here, we've ended that that era of back and forth ranging, very ugly price action, and now we've seen a strong close underneath that, and price was actually very close to having a retest this morning. You can see that wick there to the upside because NZD had that news last night, so we did see a bit of a push. Didn't quite get there though. But nonetheless, looking really bearish. And again, now that we've broken out of that, I'm expecting a swing back to the low here. We've been speaking a lot about this opportunity, and now it's finally come into play now. So expecting a drop there. Pullbacks are the way to be looking to get involved. The only thing is that we've had this consolidation for a while, so we might break out with a lot of momentum, and there might not be such deep pullbacks. So if you're looking for big pullbacks, it might not be the situation for that. So you're probably looking at a bit more shallow pullbacks, and the best way to trade that is to scale lower into lower time frames. So hourly chart, 30-minute chart, you might find some nice opportunities there. But yeah, in terms of direction, I do expect us to keep falling here. And again, same as the other yen pairs, continuation of that bearish leg. This looks like the correction to me for now, the continuation. In terms of Aussie yen, same situation as well. Really strong break to the downside. Nice kind of close yesterday, breaking out of that range today as well. Momentum is looking very good. And again, I'm looking for a push all the way back down into the low there as well. So yeah, with that strong break, it's left behind a really nice level for a retest. If we can see price come back, retest the low here, I think we're laughing. I think that's a really nice opportunity for a short. Again, nothing's guaranteed, but this is a nice opportunity. It lines up very well with the higher time frames, momentum's on your side. Just seen a very strong breakout. And again, the risk reward looks phenomenal as well. If you can get a nice trading stop on some of your positions there, could be looking to trade it back down to 95, 94. That could be a 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 8, 9, 10 risk reward there. So opportunities look good on the yen pairs, I must say. Risk reward looks good, and the quality of the opportunities look good too. So yeah, very bearish on these yen pairs. Very, very bearish. Got my coffee, nice. Okay, where was I? Pound USD. Okay, we'll take a look at Ahmed as well. Okay, depending how USD reacts, you're willing to swap euro yen for dollar yen. I think just keep the euro yen trade. If you want to find. Okay, expect to see some weakness for USD. Have to set up for it, of course. Yeah, but I think if because it looks like you're in a lot of profit there for euro yen in terms of the pips and the distance from your entry. So if that's the case, I'll just keep that trade going. You can manage the stops to break even and take some partials. So worst case scenario, you walk away for a small win. But I reckon keep that trade. And if you're looking to get into dollar yen, dollar yen looks like a nice setup as well. But yeah, I wouldn't get out of euro yen though. I think you're in a really nice price where you could literally just trail that and see how far you can take it. Okay, I'll go take a look at pound USD and then I'll look at euro as well. Afternoon, Antonio, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Emirates, pound Aussie. Okay, I'll take a look too. Short now, can I hold it? That is the question, is it? That is the question. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of pound USD shorts at the moment because price, of course, has had such a big drop to the downside. Such a big drop to the downside. It's taken out some key lows on the left here on the daily chart. So we've taken out that low, we've taken out that low, we've taken out that low. So I do expect to see a pretty big retracement at some point for pound USD, as with all the other USD pairs, because they've all been falling. As I say in FX, we don't tend to move in one direction for too long. All you have to do is just scroll back and look at history, really, and just look back. And there's only a very few times we've seen some big moves sustained for a long period of time. You could probably say this move here, and this move here is probably big moves that sustained, and this move here as well. But each one of those moves, there's some big fundamental drivers here. Like this is COVID. This is Brexit as well. I'm not too sure what happened here, but nonetheless, you can see what happened after those moves anyway. Your price had some really big moves to the upside as well. So we are pretty stretched in FX. We're going to contract at some point. We're going to retrace at some point, and it's normally going to be a pretty big move as well. So if you're looking to short and ride momentum, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you're looking for small pieces of the cake. So if you do get short, be prepared that you're not going to hold that trade for too long. Or if you are, you're going to be aggressively managing that because we're likely going to snap bullish at some point, especially when the market's already been falling for quite a while. So I do think pound USD is going to retrace pretty soon, whether it's going to be this week or next week or some other time. It's always very difficult to say, but I do expect us to see some upside. In terms of shorting pound USD, I think it's a nice place for a short, coming back to retest prior support from last week, now flip to resistance. So it's a nice place for a short. But because we've already had two rejections previously, one over there, second over there, and both haven't really got going, I wouldn't be so confident that the third time we're going to see the continuation. I think it's a nice place for a short, but probably just more likely for a reaction. If you can get a move back to some of these areas, I think that would be a great place to book some partials, book some profits, and maybe remove risk as well in terms of trading a stop to break even. I don't know what happened there. Okay, we're back. Trading view just paused on me there. So yeah, trading a stop to break even might be the better call, but I think this is a really nice level of support to short from, resistance to short from, but I just wouldn't look for a big move. And plus, we haven't really seen much rejection yet as well, so I'll still be waiting on that. How are we looking at 30-minute? Small bearish candle there, but not much momentum. So it's a nice place for a short. I would say if you're looking to if you're looking for a stop loss, just basically above the highs here is where you want to put a stop loss. So I think it's a nice location. I just wouldn't hold that trade very far. If price is starting to break the high, you want to look to close that position because the level's not holding anymore. So I think as long as you manage your risk, you got a stop loss in a good position above the highs essentially, then yeah, see the trade through. My advice is just don't shoot for the moon because the market's pretty stretched. And again, everything is probability. The market could still drop 100 pips. We don't know. But looking at the market being so stretched, I wouldn't be looking to aggressively short pound USD anymore. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at with pound USD. We'll go through some other pairs you guys requested. So I'll go through Euro USD, pound Aussie as well. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream, my man. I hope you're well. View on DXY. Okay, I'll go take a look. I'll just go through a couple pairs first, and then I'll go through that. What's up? Ooh, that's a very difficult name to pronounce. I'm not gonna lie. Steza, I think I'm saying that correctly. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. We'll take a look at pound CAD. Gim. Pay attention to the indexes. These charts are just the graph. I mean, I only look really at the DXY, to be honest, in terms of the indexes. I know you can look at for euro, for pound, for yen, but really, the dollar is the main protagonist. So that's the USD is the currency I want to keep up to date with. I do look at the Japanese index sometimes and the JPY basket as well, but not often. It's normally the DXY I just normally keep up to date with. What's up, Annie? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Thoughts on gold for a couple of days? Okay, I'll take a look. All right, no problem. Will have a good one, my man. Take care. If you guys have found the stream useful, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. But anyway, I'll go through Euro USD. So Euro, I am looking for a bounce to the upside. As I mentioned before, we're trading at a very interesting area where we could be forming that right shoulder for a push to the upside. In terms of the location of where we're trading for Euro, you can see we're back at a major low here. Very, very major low, massive move to the upside last time we're here. We're back trading there again. So we're in an area where we could see a bounce here for Euro. The fact that the market's pretty stretched as well means we're likely to see a reaction. So I'm anticipating upside for Euro USD. In terms of a setup I'm looking at, let me just clear the chart a little bit. It's a little bit messy. In terms of the setup I'm looking at this kind of inverse head and shoulder pattern. You've got the left shoulder there, you've got the head and the right shoulder there. What I do want to see before I start to look for some buys for Euro is a break for structure. I want price to break the high. So 1.06100. If we can break the high there, that will show me, okay, the buys are actually coming back into town really. Price is likely holding that weekly level of support. And at that point, we're breaking structure as well. So I'll be looking for a higher low and a continuation. So that's really the move that will trigger me to be looking to buy Euro from this area. If not, we very much could still sell off and still see another leg down. But I am looking for that move higher. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for Euro USD. So until then, I'm not really looking at any opportunities. And then if we do get the buys on that right shoulder, on that high low, kind of looking for a push back into this area and potentially this area here as well. 1.08, which I've marked there, is the middle of this entire range here. So that could be a nice target if you're looking to really swing a trade for Euro USD. But there's upside potential for Euro. I just wouldn't say it's set yet. Market structure is still bearish. So although we're trading at a big level, just need that shift, and then I can look for some higher lows and some continuations. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Euro. In terms of pound Aussie, I'll quickly go over that one, then I'll go over to DXY and pound CAD. So in terms of pound Aussie, it's been an interesting one for this one. Some nice upside. The buy a couple of days ago looked actually pretty good. It wasn't a part of my watch list, so it wasn't a pair I was looking to trade, but I was keeping an eye on it. Price had these consistent higher lows here. Can you see that? Yes, you can. 1, 2, 3, and then of course we had the fourth one a couple of days ago. And essentially all we're looking to do is try and just stay in tune with the market. The market's slowly pushing to the upside, slowly getting higher lows. Therefore, when we do approach these areas, there's a chance we might see another reaction, another higher low. And we have seen that back at the low here, because all pound Aussie's been doing is just ranging. These are equal highs, these are equal lows. So because the market is ranging, you want to enter your trades at the low of the range or at the high of the range. And because we're forming these higher lows, there's a good chance we might bounce and see that higher low, as well as reject the low of the range as well. So it was a nice trade in terms of the confluence. Prices bounced from that area. I think now the trade has left the station. So if you're looking to get involved, now's not the time. Even if you're short bias, I understand prices coming back to retest some lows here, but we're trading in the middle of the range, which is the worst place to get involved in the market, in my opinion. In the middle of a range is where you get the most indecision, the most speculation, the most kind of erratic behavior. So it's very difficult to get consistent entries, stop losses, targets. Very easy to get wicked out and just a random wick somewhere. So yeah, I would advise not looking to get involved in those areas. Not that you can't find a trade, just on average, it's a lot more difficult. If you're looking to short, I like the area up here, 1.965. If you're looking to buy, then you want price to come back for that double bottom opportunity, which may or may not happen. It's a waiting game. But yeah, because we are ranging, these are the areas which I'll look to get involved with. And because we are still consistently putting the higher lows in on the daily chart, I think the buy is the best bet. So if we were to come back for a double bottom, that could end up being a nice trade idea, but I just wouldn't want to get involved in the middle there. I don't think it's a great area. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound Aussie. In terms of the DXY, so as I mentioned earlier, it's basically the same opportunity as euro, basically just flipped. But you can see where we're trading. As I said last week, wasn't really convinced with that candle closure above the level. It just wasn't. It just didn't have enough momentum. Wasn't a strong close. We left a bit of a wick to the upside as well. So for me, I need more evidence that the market is breaking through such a big level before I start talking about breakouts and more upside for USD. And this week you start off pretty bearish. It's only Wednesday. A lot can happen. We've got some news today as well. I know we've got a pretty slow end to the week with Thanksgiving, so we might not see too much movement Thursday, Friday. But today we could still see some movement. But it does look like things are looking pretty bearish. So as I said on the 4-hour chart, if we can get a break of structure here, that would be nice evidence that, okay, price is respecting this high here at 107, and we're probably going to roll over. So we're looking for that right shoulder. Again, pretty much what we're looking for in euro. Looking for the right shoulder over there for the push up. Looking for the same thing on the DXY. And there could be some nice shorts back into 105,300 or maybe even deeper 104,581. So that's really what I'm looking at with USD. Not bearish yet, but it looks like it's getting there. Looks like it's getting there. So I'm looking for more downside. I understand that the market is still bullish. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. So we very much could form another higher low coming into this area and see a continuation. But because of the level we're trading at and because of my swing bias, now is not the best time to be looking for bullish entries. If you're looking to swing trade, of course, if you're intraday trading, just being in and out in the moment, yes, there could be a nice trade there. But in terms of swing trading, this is definitely bearish territory. So I'm only going to wait for selling opportunities at these prices. Unless, of course, price does break through the level, then that's a different story. But for now, this is what I'm looking at on the dollar. See if we can get back to some of those prices. And then maybe from there, we decide to push up. But, we'll see how that goes when we do get to those prices. In terms of GB CAD, so we did see a pretty strong reaction from this one. Price was looking very bullish last time we spoke. End of the stream, and things were looking pretty bearish again pretty quickly afterwards. We got the retest on the daily time frame. So we were talking about the retest of this low here. Price had a really aggressive wick there to the upside yesterday. Pulled back probably about 50%, 60% actually of the candle of the high of the candle there. So a really strong rejection at that high. I still do like downside for pound CAD. I'm still pretty bearish on this one. We've had this trend line here connecting the higher lows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prices, of course, broken through that very, very aggressively. So I do still think momentum is with the bears, and I still do expect us to push into 1.73, which is that big level on the daily / weekly chart. So I do still see more downside, and this looks like a nice place to short, in my opinion. There's a really strong reaction yesterday, so it's difficult to find an entry because we just shot to the downside very aggressively. Maybe that was a nice entry on the hourly chart, but 4-hour chart gave you a very big candle, so the stop loss wouldn't be so great there. But in terms of finding entries, I'd say if we get back to the high there again, I'll be keeping an eye on a double top for some more shorts. And yeah, I think a swing back to the low, you're looking at a really good trade. Still got a gap there in the market, which you could look to go and fill. So we still got a reason in terms of filling the gap to head down, not only for trend continuation, but to fill the gap there as well. So yeah, I would say targets back down at the low make a lot of sense. 1.75 just underneath, back to this big psychological level. And yeah, we'll be expecting some downside there for pound CAD as long as we can hold structure. If we start breaking above that level, yeah, things get a bit more awkward. I mean, I would probably still look for opportunities at this area, but this would be my preferred level for a short. But yeah, pound CAD is still bearish, looking for some downside at those prices. Okay, so hopefully that made sense for pound CAD. Let me know what you're looking at for that one as well. Okay, I'll take a look at euro yen and then I'll go for gold for Annie. What's up, Anton? What's up, Naiko? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What's up, Regina? Good day, good day. Welcome to the stream. Ethereum ranging, is that what you're saying? Ranging? Yeah. I'll go through some crypto as well because they're a little bit interesting. See what Bitcoin, Ethereum is doing. And Bitcoin was looking very bearish yesterday. Okay, yeah, I will go through gold as well. I'll just go through euro yen quickly and then I'll take a look at gold. So yeah, euro yen, very bearish on this one. As I've been mentioning, very bearish across the board for the yen pairs, really. So I only see more downside for this one. I like the break and retest idea if we can see a little bit more momentum because we've just about broken through, but I want price, excuse me, to really commit to the downside before looking for the retest. I'm not a big fan of shallow break and retest. I like the bigger ones. So I would be looking at that to push a little bit further. And then we can look at some retests. The idea really just to stay consistent with the lower highs. So if that's going to be another lower high, looking for the next lower low, next lower high, and then continuation. I was looking for the retest of this area here, but the market was just way too bearish yesterday. Just didn't see that movement to the upside. But yeah, if we can continue looking for the retest at that level, and in terms of targets, I do think price is coming back down to 155, 154, back to this area. It looks like price is giving us a really big head and shoulder pattern on the daily / weekly chart here. So you got your left head and your right shoulder. This is your neckline. So this is where you expect price to come back into. So there's a very high chance we're just going to see a lot more downside back to 155, maybe even a break of that level too. So if you're intraday, intra-week even, the job is just look for pullbacks on the way down and short the lower highs really. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for euro yen. In terms of gold, gold's a little bit tricky. I must admit. Price action not looking as good. I was looking for the breaking test of this low here coming into the week for the buy, but we broke through with that really big candle. I still do think the bigger move for gold is to the upside since we did break structure last week. So this was the high that gave us that massive sell. Price did just get close above that. So breaking structure. And we did have a really strong close on the weekly chart as well. Really big bullish engulfing too. So I'm still pretty bullish for gold over the next few days. I do think we can make a push back to the high here, which is 270.11, 270.10. I still think that's the bigger move there for gold. In terms of opportunities to find trades, it's a bit more difficult unless we get back above that area or maybe come back for a retest of that same area there. It's difficult to find an entry because right now we're trading to resistance, so now's not the best time to find a trade. But if you can get something like that, that could be a really nice opportunity for a trade. Again, look to swing it back to the high, or if price was to get back above that area, then that could be a nice opportunity for a trade. But that's really the bias I have for the next couple of days for gold. Still pretty bullish, looking basically for this to be our momentum, this to be our pullback phase. Now expect another continuation and probably push right back to the highs there at 27.90. So that is the plan there with gold. Of course, keep an eye on the DXY too, because if the DXY does sell from 107, and that should help out buys with gold as well. Because of course, USD weakness, expecting gold to be strong. Of course, fundamentals will play a big part in gold right now because fundamentals have been really driving prices for gold as of late. So definitely keep one eye on that. But in terms of technicals, looking for a higher low for more continuation. I think this is a really important low. Price is holding onto it very well. So if you can get back down there again, find some more entries. If not, then I would contemplate a breaking test of 26.50. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with gold. So yeah, in terms of some of the crypto, so if I go to Bitcoin, because that's the most popular, of course. So yeah, Bitcoin looking a little bit bullish, and as expected, I did suggest we might see a bit of retracement this week into that level. And we finally did. We finally saw that retracement. It's just quite weird how Bitcoin just sold off at 99.8K, just missing the 100K mark is it's quite surreal. But I do think 100K is still very likely to be hit. It's a very, very, very big psychological level. And I think a lot of people are still holding on to that. So I still think Bitcoin is going to push higher. To me, this looks like a healthy pullback. The market was pretty corrective with this bullish move anyway. So I did say we're probably likely going to pull back, to be honest, to retest that range. I was expecting Bitcoin to hit 100K first before the pullback. But of course, we can see that didn't quite happen. But now I do think we'll see that push. In terms of Ethereum, Ethereum ranging, but overall still looking pretty bullish, still keeping the high lows up. So nice double bottom there, push up. Looks like a nice triple bottom here-ish. Nice push up as well. So overall to me, Ethereum still looking pretty strong, at least in terms of the momentum here. We still do got some highs to contend with there. So I would watch out for that. But if we can see a strong break through that, then yeah, Ethereum's got a long way to go as well, because Ethereum's nowhere near the all-time highs. So I do expect Ethereum to do some catching up. But yeah, I think the buys look good. Again, the key thing with crypto is momentum. If momentum can sustain, we'll keep pushing. We held support there very well. Nice push, holding support there as well. So I think these are the best places to buy. And now I'm looking for price to break structure and keep pushing. We are trading at a key area. So if we are going to sell off, maybe this is the area we do it from. So I would watch out for that. But I do expect us to break out, especially if Bitcoin goes and hits its infamous 100K. But yeah, it's come back to a nice area, retesting pretty well. So I do expect to see some continuations now for Bitcoin. Another push back to the highs. So overall, very, very bullish there. And we might see price going to hit 100K, hopefully before the end of the year. I mean, we probably could do a lot way before then, really. But I'm giving Bitcoin its time because it might consolidate for a few days now before making that move. But yeah, overall pretty bullish on Bitcoin. Let me have a quick look at the indices. Okay, so US30. Okay, so US30 did push on. It did have a bit of a dip first though. But then it did push on. Yeah, I do expect to see some retracement now for US30. These are new all-time highs. We're still very much in a bullish market condition. Market's still very consistent with all the higher highs and higher lows. But I do think it's time to see some retracement now for US30. We had a really big push after the US elections. I do think the market is a little bit stretched now. So I do expect a bit of a pullback. How are the other indices doing? Has NAS created new all-time highs yet? No, not quite. So maybe we're going to go do that first before we do get the bigger pullbacks. Actually, price is looking very corrective here. Looks like we're struggling a little bit as we approach here. We might even see something like this happen. It's an aggressive trade. That would be an aggressive trade. It makes sense in terms of the technicals. Nice area of consolidation, strong move down, very correct to move back into that area. You know, we could see another push down. I still do like the buys from down here for NAS. So I still think this is a really nice place for a buy. As you see, nice area of demand, prices to consolidate for a few days there before a really big push to the upside. So I still think this is a really nice place for a buy. This looks like a good sell, but it's just aggressive because you're against the trend, against momentum. So if you are looking to put a short in, it's always going to be a bit difficult to hold into that for a bigger swing, because the buyers could step in at any moment. But if we were to see a push down, the buys down here look really good to take back up again. But yeah, I think the bears will look to step in there. In terms of S&P 500, okay, is this creating new highs? Yeah, just about. So yeah, it might be time for a retracement now. Because again, even with this leg here, even though we have seen some new all-time highs, the market is still very corrective here. So it's not like we steamroll to the upside like we did over here. The market was just very tired and it kind of just about pinched the high. And it might still have a bit more upside in the tank, but because it's corrective, we're probably going to go through a big retracement phase at some point. Same with NAS 100, which we just looked at. This one hasn't created any all-time highs. But again, still very corrective. I do expect us to see a bit of a dip soon. Maybe it does go and pinch the highs first before we have the dip, but I do think it's going to happen. And then, of course, US 30, I do think that's going to see some downside pretty soon as well. Trading above the highs there, starting to become a bit more corrective now. This as well, probably going to go for a bit of a move down. So with the indices, although I'm very bullish on the indices in terms of the daily, weekly chart, but I do think we'll probably see some downside in the next couple of days because the market's a little bit stretched. Some US 30 and US 30 and S&P have created new all-time highs, so they're going to pull back anyway. What you have to do is look back at previous price action. And then NAS is just so corrective on the way up. It's not like we've seen healthy momentum too. So I do expect that one to push back down. So yeah, indices bullish, but I do think bearish bias for the next couple of days. Until we get a healthy pullback for them. But of course, that does come back to what will happen with the DXY. This is still going to be very interesting. It's looking pretty bearish at the moment, but I need that momentum to continue. And then I'll be looking for opportunities afterwards. But as I said, for most of the week, not really interested in USD pairs at the moment. Yeah, maybe if we do see the strong breaker structure, maybe I start to consider Euro USD a little bit more. But at the moment, yeah, just not really looking to get involved there with the USD pairs. I think yen has a lot more opportunity, and I can read the yen pairs a lot better as well. Trading is very rarely about just knowing what the markets will do all the time. It's about finding that specific moment when things look good, when things are aligned, and then capitalizing on that. And to me, I've got a good read of the yen pairs at the moment, so my focus will just be looking to see if I can get back into some more shorts in CAD yen. As I said, I did close 50% of that position at that low. At that low there at 109. So I'm looking to see if I can use those profits on my advantage, put them up to risk, see if I can get another trade in at some point, and see if I can milk the trade some more back to the low. Because again, the opportunity is there. And what will be very interesting as well this week is how the weekly candle will close, because we've done such a good job at respecting the high here. And that's one of the reasons why I did take the short last week, is because of where we're trading. Massive resistance there on the weekly chart. You can see all the wicks there to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, 5 with last week's candle, which is the candle I entered on. Price every time tried to break above the level for the weekly candle. It kept pulling back and leaving behind a wick. So coming into the week for last week, price was looking very bullish, and that's one of the reasons why I shorted, because if the 5 previous weekly candles are all just left behind a big wick at this area, there's a good chance that the next weekly candle is going to leave another wick as well. Unless price is going to break through and continue. In that case, I'll stop out and walk away from the trade. But because we had so many wicks previously, that's why I was confident to short the market. And now we're seeing the momentum in this weekly candle here to the downside. So if we can get a close that looks similar to this, doesn't have to be as bearish, we can pull back a little bit. That's completely fine. Or if we are more bearish, that'd be great. But if you can get close like this, that means the next 2-3 weeks, I just expect downside. Sure, there might be a bit of upside there as well, but predominantly speaking, I'm looking at us falling right down here. So yeah, if we get a close like that, I think that's game over for the yen pairs in terms of the upside. And yeah, I think from an intra-week opportunity on the lower time frames, just looking for those pullbacks really. Price can come back, retest some of these areas. I think that could be a really nice trade to look at next week and look for some opportunity. And it's not just CAD yen, it's pretty much every other yen pair. Aussie yen looks really good with the breakout to the downside at the range. Healthy break there. That looks like a really nice retest as well. If that comes in, that's just as good an opportunity as CAD yen. In terms of New Zealand yen as well, of course, very similar to Aussie, but that's a strong break to the downside at the range. A retest somewhere, maybe even an intraday retest on the lower time frames. That's good too. Going over to pound JPY, that's left behind some really nice structure on the 4-hour chart. Come back to retest some of those lows. Again, I do expect a big drop. Euro yen as well, as we just mentioned. That was creating some support now, broken through it. I do want this one to push a little bit lower to the downside first before looking for pullbacks. But if it can do that, would be great. And then again, looking for some retest there at 160.5 for some more downside. As long as we don't go and take out this high here, keeping that bearish bias really, and looking for a big drop. Of course, you got your C-Chip JPY, which is starting to look a lot better. Breaking structure now, shorts in there look good, and then dollar yen looks pretty good. I just don't like it because it's trading above some key support on the weekly chart, which we mentioned previously. So although it's looking pretty bearish in the lower time frames, there is a pretty big level on the weekly chart, which I don't really want to sell into, but I wouldn't mind some shorter term trades. Pull back to that area, some shorts on the 4 hour, the hourly look good, and you can ride that back into that low there and maybe further too. So yeah, yen pairs look good. Yen pairs look good. I think we're forming some tops now. And if these are the tops for these markets, then there's a long way down. If that's the top, next top for dollar yen, so if that's the top and this is the first lower high, then you're looking for a push right back down into this low here. And if I'm going to measure that in pips from current price, you're looking about a 1,000 pip drop. You don't come by 1,000 pips every week, so it's a very, very big move. And it's just about being able to capitalize on that opportunity. And the best way is trading stops. Trading stops. Take profits, work well in more range bound, mean reversion opportunities. Shorting high, buying low. But if you got a swing opportunity, a trend opportunity, that's where you want to use trading stops because you don't know how far the market can go. And with trading stops, you can look for bigger targets and still manage your downside because you're trading your stop. So worst case scenario, the market reverses against you, get trailed out for a profit still, and it leaves open your upside too. So yeah, that's kind of where my main focus is. That's why I'm not so focused with the USD pairs because they're just better opportunities elsewhere. And then New Zealand CHF, I did actually miss a trade with this one. I was contemplating looking to enter it yesterday afternoon, but I decided not to get into the trade because of the New Zealand interest rate decision, which was yesterday morning. This morning, early hours of the morning, today morning. I mean the early hours of this morning. And I was expecting to see some weakness for New Zealand. So I said, if I'm looking to buy New Zealand dollar, but I'm expecting some weakness, it's probably best for me to wait after the news, probably get better price to entry, or if it was going to be a losing position, I can just dodge that bullet altogether. But we had actually a pretty bullish reaction there. So I'm looking to see maybe price will come back down again because it's a little bit too far now for me to enter in terms of risk to reward and finding a good entry. This is the area I said I was looking to long from and still am. But yeah, we've had a really big push. And if I was to enter up here, with stops down there, back to that first major high, it's barely a 1-to-1 there. And that's a pretty sturdy level of resistance. And I want that to be at least a 1-to-2 so I can lock in some gains, similar to what I did with my CAD yen position. Lock in some gains and then start trading, but that's not even a 1-to-1 for me. So in terms of the entry, the risk to reward doesn't make too much sense there. So I'm hoping we can come back deeper, have another retest. Maybe I can find an entry like this, which should be a lot better. And then, of course, I'll look to trail as well. Because the idea is that we're trading at a massive low. And if we can hold on to this, there's a good chance we can see a lot of upside and possibly take it back into the highs up there. So in terms of the pairs on my watch list, New Zealand CHF is one of them, looking for the buy, which I just mentioned. See if I can take that back into the resistance there, maybe even the highs there as well. I do like quite a few of the yen pairs, but like I said, I'm just going to focus on CAD yen. So CAD yen is on the watch as well for additional entries. So looking for the retest there. I'm not really looking at the USD pairs just yet. The crosses, yeah, I'm not really interested with the crosses either. Pound Aussie, no. Pound NZD, no. I mean, pound NZD, I do have a setup. The reason why I say no is just because it's very, very far away from forming. The setup I'm looking at is the retest of the high here. Because of the move yesterday, become a little bit closer, but it's still pretty far away. I'm looking for some entries in this area here, 2.1237, and that is still about a few days away. It could be quicker, could be a little bit later, but I do like the opportunity there for pound NZD, but it's just not where I want it to be. So I'm not too focused with this one just yet. If it gets closer, I'll start looking at it to the watch list. But I like the buys there for pound NZD. Yeah, UNSD, Euro Aussie, not a big fan of. Euro pounds, not a big fan of either. Oh, that's a lot of euros there. Euro pound, not a big fan of either. It's just overall very corrective pair. I know it's trading at a really nice big level where we could bounce from. But unless it's trending well, I don't look to get involved. And that's really the key thing why I like the yen pairs, because they're trending well. I know USD pairs have trended well too. I have missed some trades there, especially because of the US election. Also, I was very close to getting some shorts for Euro USD and take advantage of a big drop there, but just the US elections came in and all that momentum came in. I just didn't find an entry, unfortunately, and just missed my level as well by like a few pips too. So the reason why I like the yen pairs is because they're trending well right now. USD pairs have trended well, but they're now approaching some big areas of support where I'm expecting them to bounce and possibly turn around. So yeah, even though they trended well, the trend's coming to areas where it could be over. Whereas it looks like the yen pairs are just getting started. Really, it looks like we're just seeing that momentum come in, and now maybe they're getting ready for some really big moves. So with the yen pairs, I think that's really where it's at for the next few weeks, really. Because if we are going to get back to these lows, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks for us to get there, most likely, maybe even a bit longer. So the plan is really just take advantage of the opportunity as much as possible. And the shorts do play out quicker as well, because I know we've had that slow kind of grind to the upside for a while. But the shorts are going to play out, twice as fast, maybe 3 times as fast as well. You can just look at the sells, really aggressive when they do sell off, really aggressive. So there's opportunity there. Just about timing, right? So if I go take a look at some of the other crosses, because there is some okay opportunities like pound CAD. I do like pound CAD. The only reason why I'm not looking to trade is because the pullback isn't enough. If I measure it from the high to the low, you can see you got the 50%, 0.618 there. So although I do really like this level here, 1.775, really strong move up, expecting a strong reaction like we did yesterday. It hasn't pulled back at least 50%, which is kind of where I'm looking to get involved in. So yeah, pound CAD, it doesn't tick all the boxes. So therefore, I'm not really looking to trade it. If it pulls back a little bit deeper, I'll contemplate some shorts up there. But I have to see how we move. At the moment, I'm not quite doing it. EuroCAD, I do like a short as well with this one. Not quite at the area just yet. If I go to the daily chart, you can see what I'm on about. So again, if I whip out the Fibonacci from the high to the low, you can see we do have a really sturdy level of support here. This lines up pretty well with the 0.618. So I'm looking to see if we can push back into the 1.49 level and look for some shorts in that area and the next continuation. Because again, it was acting as resistance very well, then left too. As you can see, strong reactions over there, consolidation, strong break, looking for the retest of that now for some more downside. That is still very much the plan there with EuroCAD, but again, not quite there yet. Still got a few more pips to go, and then I can start looking for some opportunities for EuroCAD. In terms of the other CAD pairs, they've been a little bit interesting. Looks like New Zealand CAD is breaking back inside its channel, which is not what I expected price to do, to be honest. I was looking for price to break that low of the channel and stay below it. Breaking back above does make my shorts invalid, because I did say this week, if we can stay below the low of the channel, I'm looking for price to have a dump back into the low here. And I'm looking to ride that momentum lower. We did see the break last week, which was nice, but it looks like we're trying to climb back inside the range, which is not part of the plan. And if we do successfully do that, it will invalidate my setup there. So yeah, New Zealand CADs, it was looking good, but not so good anymore. I think CAD's just been a bit too weak. But I'm going to wait for the weekly candle to close, because the weekly candle did close below. So if the weekly candle does close back above, that's what will invalidate my setup. But I'm hoping that this weekly candle here can pull back and leave a nice wick there and close underneath the range. And then if that's the case, next week's candle is likely to see a lot more downside there as well. So we'll keep a close eye on New Zealand CAD. Aussie CAD 2 hasn't even broken the low of the channel. So this one I'm not really even considering to get involved just yet. This one needs to break the low of the channel first before it even contemplates some sells. But if it can break the low of the channel, I do think the shorts look very, very nice. Strong break of the low, lower high. Kind of a continuation of those lower highs down the left, and expect a big drop. But we'll have to see. Hey, what's up? Per Perry Show. I go live every Monday, Tuesday, well, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So yeah, if you're enjoying the streams, feel free to tune in whenever. I'm always live every weekday. And of course, I do analysis on the weekend as well, recapping the current week and forecasting the next. So if you are enjoying the content, keep an eye on that. And yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the content, show some love, drop a like on the stream. The channel does really help out. Subscribe to the channel as well. And of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel. Completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and at the top of the chat, so you can't miss it. You can join discussions, chat with myself, chat with other traders as well. And of course, you can find your discount opportunities there too. So check it out if you haven't done so already. Hey, appreciate it, man. Love to learn. Same here. I mean, we're all learning, to be honest. You can always learn, something else, no matter how good you are at something, there's always something to learn. But yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, with the CAD pairs, I just need a bit more development on Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD if I'm going to get short on those guys. And then Euro CAD is probably the best one to look at, really, if that can come back and retest that area. There could be some nice shorts later on. In terms of like Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, a lot of people were requesting these pairs yesterday. Again, they're not my favorite pairs, I have to be honest. I do think there's going to be a big move for them very, very soon, because a lot of them have been consolidating. So we're probably going to get a big breakout and a big move, just like what we're seeing with the Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. But we have to stay patient, because it's not happening just yet. But again, because of where we're coming from, really strong level of support, as we can see, massive reactions previously. And again, we're seeing that again. If you're looking to sell this one, I think the next best area to short from is coming back into this high here on the left, 1.63400. This is the first time you're kind of coming back into bearish territory. This is where I see all the buyers collecting. And from here on up is where I see the sellers getting involved. So yeah, push back to 1.6341. I think that's a nice place to look for some shorts. Back at major high, you can get a nice stop loss above the high as well. And the risk reward looks very, very good if you're looking to swing it back to the low, or even just a push back into this area will look very good as well. Depends how aggressive you want to be. But overall for Euro Aussie, I do think eventually we'll have a big break of the low and price will continue lower. We had a really big move here, which looks like it just took out the highs here, but I do expect us to now still continue lower, because since then we've been pretty consistent with these lower highs. So I do expect another one to form at some point. Maybe it's going to be back at this resistance level. We'll see. We'll judge price when we get there. and maybe that will be another drop to the downside. Then eventually, I do expect us to get that breakout and really sell off. Yeah, because if we were going to continue the trend, we most likely would continue, especially with this move here as well, especially with such a big wick like that. Seeing such a big rejection there is a strong sign that the market is likely not going to continue up. So the trend we saw throughout 2022, 2023 is probably over now. Looks like we're forming a bit of a massive double top here. So I do expect us to eventually roll over. So it's an opportunity I'm keeping an eye on. It's not developed yet at all. So it's a market which I'm just keeping tabs on, really. Yen pairs look a lot better, so that's where my focus is right now. But maybe in 2-3 weeks, this could be a nice opportunity. I mean, the shorts here could be an opportunity this time next week, really. Like I said, we've got Thanksgiving tomorrow, and in the market might just be a bit dead on Friday as well. So we might not see too much movement apart from the US session today. I know there's a bit of news with USD. Let me actually go double check that. I think there's a bit of CAD news as well. I think CAD, or was CAD Thursday or Friday? No, CAD's Friday, sorry. In terms of today, in terms of USD, we've got durable goods at 130. We've got GDP growth rate at 130 as well. This is all UK time. And we've got jobless claims as well at 130, again, UK time. So there is a lot of news today, this afternoon. And then on Friday, Friday we got GDP for CAD. Not much for USD though. So and today we got a few news events, which might cause a bit of movement. Again, doesn't really affect Euro Aussie, but then USD can affect pretty much every currency. So keep an eye on that. But this could be a nice trade maybe for next week. I'm not too sure we get there this week. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens there. We'll be live again today, actually with Trading Nick on his channel, so keep an eye out for that as well, from around 1:45 UK time. All right, take care, Antonio. Have a good one, man. Hopefully, see you tomorrow. Often has news worked in my favor, but I'll probably say about 60-40, really. News is always, because I'm a very technical trader, so I'm always focused on my technical setups despite what the news is doing. And I'd probably say about 60% of the time, news does work in my favor. Probably say 40% of the time it doesn't. Normally, I do have wider stops, so I'm not too worried about holding trades through news because of the wider stops I have. So slippage, widened spreads isn't really an issue for me. I normally take my trades on the 4-hour chart. But yeah, I probably say 60% of the time, news works in my favor. But that's more speaking about the bigger news events. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out that for Euro Aussie, Euro NZD. Let me go to FXCM. So Euro NZD is a similar pair, of course, and I do think something similar is happening too, because we had the same kind of move, big strong move to the upside. It just failed at the highs there too. So it looks to me a big double top is probably forming there. I do think we can come right back and test the low here, which is around 1.74. So I do expect to see a pretty big move to the downside at some point. It's just the price action is just very, very poor. It's difficult to find a good opportunity. I think if we can break through the low here, that should make things a little bit easier. So if we can break through this low at around 1.78500, I think shorts underneath that will make a lot more sense. So get below that, see a strong break, and then we can look to see some downside there. It's funny because Euro NZD's had a really big move down. And of course, Euro Aussies had a pretty big move up. Or it's been looking pretty bullish. Of course, normally they do the same thing, but NZD is really strong at the moment. Yeah, NZD is really strong at the moment because of the news last night. Yeah, last night. So we are seeing a little bit of a mixed match here, but overall, I am still pretty bearish on both of these currencies. I just think the Euro Aussie is going to have a bigger pullback back to some of these areas before coming down. Euro NZD, really strong move to the downside already. If it can clear that support, I think that will open up the floodgates and we'll see a really big move to the downside back to the lows here, 1.71. So I'm pretty bearish on them. Just don't have a good opportunity to trade them just yet. And yeah, in terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, we had a pretty big reaction yesterday. Well, not yesterday, early hours of this morning. Really strong move down, and the price is looking pretty bearish. And I did say there's a good chance that we hold on to the high here because that's the condition of the market. You know, Aussie New Zealand dollar is a very choppy, range bound market. So in these conditions, we're going to respect resistance very well, and we're going to respect support very well as well. So price just reverts back on itself all the time. So there's a good chance price is going to come back to resistance and respect it, as we did yesterday. No chance of a reversal into a pullback. Are you talking about for Euro Aussie? Which pair are you talking about? I mean, that could happen at any point. Okay, Euro Aussie. Possibly there's a chance for everything, of course. But for me, I'll only be looking at shorts at this area for more downside. Maybe price can have a bigger move to the upside potentially, and continue. But the move I'm interested in is the shorts at the high here. The market has been pretty consistent with the lower highs on its way down, so I'm looking at that continuing. And the way I just see price right now, just bouncing at that low, really struggling to break through. But if we were going to continue bullish and see a big move to the upside, I would expect us to sustain momentum here and not come straight back down. So that's a bit of a sign telling me that price is likely to break through that support at some point and probably give us a bigger move down. There's a key area down here, which I'll look at as the next big low to target. So yeah, I do think price is going to have a pretty big move down here. And that would be the area I'll be looking to short. Are you mentioning reversal of the bullish move, or I'm confused in terms of which reversal turn pullback you're mentioning? You're talking about this move here, because to me, I'm just looking at that as another bounce of support, really. As long as we can keep up the lower highs, that's the structure I'm looking to stay in line with. If price starts to give me something like that, I'll be I'll hold my hands up and reanalyze then, because maybe at that point we're breaking structure, and maybe at that point we're actually going to be bullish and see a big move to the upside. But at the moment, I don't think that move is pretty likely happening. So I'm looking for the drop there. But yeah, I'm confused in terms of reversal into a pullback. What you mean in terms of this is a reversal or a pullback? I'm unsure. Because to me, looks more like a range. So the conditions haven't been very good. But I do think it's a range at the top of a trend here. So we've had a nice trend for a while. Market's starting to top out at the range. And I do think we're going to break to the downside. Basically what we did with Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, which was a nice move to the upside. It formed a bit of a range, and now it's breaking down. I expect that to happen as well with Euro Aussie there as well at some point. And New Zealand yen's done that pretty well too. But yeah, the only markets that look crystal clear to me is basically the yen pairs at the moment. And some of the other pairs do look okay. But in terms of crystal clear in terms of quality, yen pairs tick a lot of boxes for me. So that's really where I want to focus probably for a while until maybe the USD pairs look a little bit better, or maybe I do get that bigger pullback on Euro CAD. If I go through some of the CHF pairs, CAD CHF, last time I checked, was looking very bearish. We had a really big move to, really big move to the downside there. So, yeah, with CAD CHF, I was pretty bullish with this one going into the week, looking for a big push to the upside. But we did not hold this area of resistance turn support. I was looking for us to bounce at this level for some upside, but because CAD was so weak, it looks like we're putting a big fake out right now. So, I was looking at this high here to hold a support, but now price is firmly below. So now I'm looking at a big push back down into that low there, because what we've gone and done is we've gone and broken through structure, and this to me just looks like a big fake out of that high, this move here. So yeah, now I'm looking for price to come back, retest 0.632 and possibly have a really big sell back down into 0.62. If we were going to continue higher, I would expect the price to form a higher low at some point, least respect to some structure, and then continued higher. The fact that we came crashing down, broke the low, is not a good sign for the buyers at all, especially with the way we did it with so much momentum as well. It's not like we slowly pushed down and broke structure. That's a different ball game. We broke it with force, and yeah, we broke it with force, and now price is looking really bearish. So yeah, with CAD CHF, I think price is going to continue to push down back to the lows here at 0.62. In terms of Aussie CHF, this one's looking pretty bearish, but I don't have much to say about Aussie CHF. Not a big fan of the price action at all, really. This is the low which I do like, and this is the high here which I do like as well. Price has showed a lot of respect, at these areas. So I do think this is a nice place to look for opportunities, and of course, respect to this area on numerous occasions. So I do think this is a nice place for another buy if you were to get there. But at the moment, Aussie CHF, all it's doing is just trading in the middle of this range, which is just the worst place to be in. As I speak about multiple times, if you're looking to trade a range, don't trade in the middle. Worst place to find entries. And of course, it's in context because on the lower time frames, there are trends to the upside and trends to the downside, but they just don't last too long because you're in the middle of the range. Price could just reverse at any point, really. So you want to be careful. But you can still find trades, of course. It's just consistently, you're better off focusing at the highs and lows of ranges, or wait for the market to trend on the higher time frames. But yeah, with Aussie CHF, I will be waiting for price to simply just get back to the low end of the range, 0.561, or push back to the high. And that's where we're looking for opportunities. I'm just not interested at all in these areas. New Zealand CHF, however, is at a nice level and is that area where I'm looking for a buy. I'm hoping to see if price can push down a little bit deeper again, have a second test because I missed the first entry. So if it can come back and test it again, that would be very much appreciated. Give me another rejection entry signal. I will be looking for a buy. In terms of the weekly chart, again, you can see where we're trading right back at a very critical low. So I do expect us to have that bounce and see the upside. And I also really like the wicks we're doing on the weekly chart. A lot of wicks into this area. So price is failing to sustain momentum and pressure at these prices. Similar to the idea I had on CAD Yen with the wicks to the upside and I shorted the wick there. Looking to do something similar here with New Zealand CHF and see if we can catch a nice push to the upside. And targets really back at this area here, it looks likely. So New Zealand CHF, to me, is the only CHF pair that's good for a trade now. Maybe pound CHF if it can have the breakout, because I think we might be seeing a big continuation to the downside, similar to the yen pairs as well. So if I go to the weekly chart, actually no, daily chart a little bit better. You can see the big drop we had there in July. I'm looking for possibly that this move to the upside is the correction of that move. So possibly we're going to see the continuation back into the low and maybe further as well. So if this is the drop and this is the pullback, then if we can break the range to the downside, so if we can break out of this to the downside, then yes, I think that would be a really nice opportunity. Shorts back into the low. That could be a really nice trade to look at. Risk to reward looks good, opportunity looks good, and hopefully we'll see a lot of momentum there on the push down as well. So it could be a really nice trade to look at. But of course, first things first, the break of the consolidation, most important thing. As long as we stay within that range, there's not a lot for us to do. But if we can break the low, we'll be looking at the retest of that area. I think the breakout looks likely. The market looks tired. We've had a few bounces, but hasn't really pushed on. So yeah, if we can break the low, I'll be looking at some shorts. But yeah, New Zealand CHF and Pound CHF, the only ones that look remotely good. Like I said, Aussie CHF still in that range. And then you've got your lovely Euro CHF, which I'm not really a fan of at the moment, to be honest. I know it's at an area where we might bounce as well. I mean, we created new all-time lows recently. We did it over there. And another one just about over there a couple of days ago. So I do think we're at an area where we could see some upside, but at the same time, we could go and look to fill the wick. It's always difficult to go against the trend, against momentum, especially with a market like Euro CHF, which if you zoom out, all it's been doing is falling. So it's always difficult to go against that. Not impossible. There are some good opportunities for some buys, but you've got to take it careful. So with Euro CHF, similar to Euro USD, if this can break structure to the upside, see a strong push up, then there could be some nice buys in the higher low somewhere. But yeah, it's always difficult trying to be the first one into the trade though, especially when you're going to go against momentum. If you can see price break structure, give you evidence at least that things are changing, things are turning around, then looking to get into some opportunities afterwards isn't as difficult or as risky, I should say. Because at least you got some evidence that price is pushing up, strong break structure, then the buys. And that's literally what I'm looking at for Euro USD as well. If we can get that move there to the upside. But looks like the markets are pretty dead at the moment. Not really see much movement. Maybe they're waiting for the afternoon. Makes sense. So there's a few news events which could get the USD pairs moving. How's the DXY looking? So yeah, DXY has seen some nice momentum, but stalling a little bit now. So hopefully we can push on this afternoon and see price continue a little bit further. Yeah. Otherwise, it might be a slow end to the week with Thanksgiving tomorrow. And then maybe a lot of people are taking Friday off as well. But I'll still be looking to trade. It might be a US bank holiday, but I'll still be looking for my opportunities. If I do get a good trade, I will still look to take it nonetheless, manage to trade as I normally do. But yeah, it would be difficult to see that happen. But hopefully we can get some opportunities there. If I go take a look at the Japanese index, because I want to see if that has had a break to the downside. Oh, not 335, 225. Okay, so we've had a strong move that hasn't broken support yet. So we are looking pretty bearish at the moment, but I'm looking for us to break through that low. If we can break through 37,800, I think that will be the start of a really big move to the downside, back into the low, all the way down here, 35,500. So the plan is if we can break through that support level, then we can look for shorts, because of course you don't want to be shorting directly into support. But if you can break through that, you can expect to see some yen strength, and of course that will mean that the yen pairs push down, because the Japanese index JP225 is of course positively correlated with the yen pairs. When this moves down, they move down. When this moves up, they move up too. So key break of that support is what we're looking for. And if I take a look at the yen basket, would you look at that? Is looking very, very nice, I must say. Very nice push to the upside. So now that we're doing that, if we can keep that up, this becomes support now. Wrong tool. this will become support now and a great place for some continuation. So really healthy momentum to the upside there. 6,400 looks like a great place for some entries. And it kind of lines up with what we're looking at on the other yen pairs as well, especially CAD yen for the breaking we tested that low, and New Zealand and Aussie yen as well, breaking we tested their ranges. Really convincing me to the upside. We've broken out that range in that area of support demand, which we held on to not long ago, has really paid off here. And now the market is looking pretty bullish. So there's a long way to go if we're going to come back to these areas. Really sturdy support and resistance in these areas here. That could be where price is making a move to. And yeah, if that's the case, we're going to see a lot of yen yen strength, but of course weakness to their pairs. So yeah, I think that's really the opportunity for the end of the year, really, because a move like that, this is the daily time frame, that could take quite a few days, maybe 2-3 weeks to play out. Of course, we're already going to December next week, and we've only got 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks of December, really of probably some nice movement. But yeah, from Christmas onwards, the market's going to become a little bit more dry and probably going to slow down a little bit until maybe the 2nd of Jan, 3rd of Jan. So yeah, in terms of this week, Thanksgiving, Friday, probably slow then, but next week, so yeah, next week starting from the 2nd of December, the week after starting on the 9th. I think the week after that, starting on the 16th, is probably the last 3 weeks of decent momentum in the market, or the opportunity for decent momentum. So I think those remaining 3 weeks, main goal is going to be attack the yen pairs, short the yen pairs. Of course, when the opportunity does arise, not just short it blindly. So yeah, that will probably be the main focus. Of course, there will be other opportunities as well, but in terms of the higher time frames, they tick the boxes very well. But yeah, the week starting 23rd, I think the market will be pretty slow then. 23rd, 24th, 25th, of course, is Christmas. 24th is Christmas Eve. The markets will be shut then anyway. And then the following week, you got the 31st, which is New Year's Eve. The 1st, which is, of course, New Year's Day. Markets will be shut then too. And then from the 2nd, 3rd, which will be Thursday and Friday, the market will probably pick up a little bit. But really, the week after that is probably when we're back in flow, which is the 6th of Jan. That'll be the start of really 2025, really. But yeah, for me, I think the main focus will just be looking to attack that yen weakness, the JPY weakness on the pairs, but JPY strength really. But yeah, since I've already got that CAD yen trade, I'm not really looking to get involved in any other yen pair, because they'll do the same thing really, and I would rather keep my eggs in one basket and just stay with CAD yen. Looks like if oil does have a big fall as well, that means CAD might be a bit weak too. So if oil's going to be weak, CAD's going to be weak, that's great. If yen's going to be strong, we can really sell off too. So if I can find an opportunity to get an additional trade, then we can really be, in some nice opportunities. And yeah, target's back down at 103, which lines up with that low there. Just simply looking for the continuation of that momentum. But yeah, there's not much for me to do. I'm going to be pretty not aggressive. I'm going to be pretty conservative with my stop loss trading as well, because I don't want to be in a situation where I trail too aggressively just to be trailed out by a random push up and see the market continue my direction. I'd rather be very loose with my trail stop loss and suffer big retracement, rather than be too aggressive and just be stopped out on minor pullback because of how good of an opportunity it is really with JPY right now. Right now, my stop loss is trailed above that zone. I probably will keep it there for a while, to be honest, until we see some really nice highs form. Any kind of like minor highs like this, I'm not going to be looking to trail. If you do have a big pullback like this and put a big high in, then I'll probably start considering to then trail, to be honest, because I want to give it as much room as it needs. Like I said, I already booked 50% of my profits, so I'm not really eager to take money out of the trade anymore. That scratch has been that itch has been scratched. So now it's just let's see what we can do here with this position. Okay, I'll take a look at gold for you. Not really a market which I'm looking to get involved in, but I am still pretty bullish on gold, looking for upside. I do think there's a good chance of us coming back to the all-time highs at 27.90. Because we had that break of structure last week, taking out this high here at 27.11. To me, that's a strong sign that, okay, this sell-off isn't going to get the continuation we're looking for. And we're probably going to get a big move to the upside now. So I'm looking at the higher low forming. It looks to be that this low here is doing pretty well. The prior low that gave us that big strong move to the upside. Now we're holding pretty well as support. So I do think we can see a pretty big move to the upside. I was originally looking for the breaking me test of this area for entries this week, but we broke through. So the opportunity I'm looking at now is either to come back double bottom at that low or break above this area 2650, then look for some entries there with stop losses below. But the idea is to look for a higher low here. I'm bullish on gold, expecting more upside, and targets are back at the high, but the real targets are back at the high over there, the all-time highs. But gold, I'm pretty bullish. Now I wouldn't be looking for entries though, because now we're coming back into some resistance here. So in terms of buying, it doesn't really make too much sense because, yeah, we might have a bearish reaction. But if you come back to some support, it'll make a lot more sense to find some entries there and take some trades again. But it doesn't look good as some other opportunities, so that's why I'm not really interested in trading gold. Same with silver as well. Silver did come back to the level which I was actually buying from a couple of weeks back, which I only got trailed out of on Monday. I was buying there and I just got trailed out on Monday at break even, but I did close some profits before that, so it was a small win. So yeah, I could be potentially looking to find some more entries there for silver, but it's become quite choppy now. Not really seeing that momentum anymore. Yes, it's still holding onto a nice level there, but the opportunity wasn't as good as it was when I did enter a couple of weeks back. So I'm waiting for some higher highs and higher lows to come into the market first. So you can see a strong push, creating new highs, because we did break structure. On the left here, we had some nice lower lows and lower highs. We broke structure. This could be the higher low in this formation, and now we could go and see the next higher high, which would be great. If that was to happen, then I'll start look for some pullbacks and some buying opportunities. Otherwise, it's just not an opportunity for me at this moment in time. And I have to watch out as well because we've got this massive level here on the daily chart, which could definitely send us back down. So really, preferably, if I was looking for the best opportunity possible for silver, I'd wait for this level to clear, actually. Look for some buys above that. I'll be a lot more confident that silver is going to push back to these highs now if we're above 32.4, 32.5. And then I'll be a lot more confident that possibly we could be aiming for some really nice extended targets, 36, 37, 38, and beyond. So if price gets back above this level in the daily chart, yeah, I will definitely be looking to add silver to my watch list, really. That would be the best opportunity possible. But we've got a lot of work to do before we're trading above that. Because at the moment in time, we're still trading at 30, so need to stay patient. But yeah, I'm not looking to find any more entries down at those lows anymore. Just not ticking the boxes that I want to be ticked. So hopefully that can change there. But overall, still pretty bearish on the metals. And as I said, with the dollar, I do think dollar can go through some retracement. Hopefully momentum picks up today. It'll be interesting to see what happens today with the news. That's kind of really where my focus will be with USD. I know my bias is bearish, but who knows? Maybe we see a bullish reaction. As long as we don't break the high here, that high there, 108. As long as you don't break that high, I'm keeping that bearish bias until I see a strong candle close on the weekly chart above that high there. if I see a strong weekly candle close above that high, that would just completely invalidate that bias altogether, and at that point, you're probably going to see some downside. But yeah, I need to be careful with that. But it's not looking like it at the moment. So waiting for that breaker structure and then some sells. I do like USD CAD longs. USD CAD longs at 1.4. You've been pretty consistent with the higher highs and higher lows. You had high over there, low, high, low, high, low. And price, of course, creating new highs there. And I do like the buys here around 1.4. I think that's a nice place to catch a nice snap in the opposite direction. I wouldn't be so optimistic to try and push trade too far. So back to the 1.414 area, back to the swing high. But push back to here, I think looks pretty likely. And at least the push to that area to secure some profits, trade a stop to break even, and then see what we can do next. And the reason I say that is because on the higher time frames, we're trading above a really key weekly level, which is not clear to me yet if price is really having a sustained break of this, or is it just a big fake out for price to take out a lot of liquidity above the high for us to now come back inside the range and possibly have a big sell-off. So I'm still not quite decided on that yet, which it is. So that's why I wouldn't be so confident to push the trade too far, just because it might be a big sell that's waiting to happen. If we can push on a little bit further and get a stronger weekly close like that, okay, that would really put me to a bullish bias, because at that point that's a clear breakout. We've had a retest of the level as well, so I can be a lot more confident in the buys, and we could be looking to push all the way back to the top end of that wick there, 1.46. There's a long way to go for us as well if we are going to be bullish. But in the meantime, the buys do look good on the 4-hour chart, intraday timeframes. But because I'm not convinced with the breakout just yet, I wouldn't hang on to the trade. Otherwise, if I was convinced with the breakout, then I would say, yeah, this could be a nice buy to hold and trail stops as well, similar to what I'm doing with the yen pairs. This could be a nice opportunity to do that. But it's a little bit undecided, especially if dollar's going to reject. If dollar's going to reject 107 and push down, if dollar's going to reject that level, then that's not really a good sign for USD CAD buys it either. So that's why I'm a little bit on the fence as well. But in terms of the technical setup, it ticks the box as well. Coming back into nice area of support, demand. We did consolidate here for a few days before that big push to the upside. So a lot of buying pressure from that level. And if price was to get back there again, we're probably going to see a bullish reaction. So if you're on the hourly chart, 30-minute chart, these are nice areas to look for some buys. And again, look for that reaction. And then if you break back inside, we can reanalyze and go from there. But yeah, in terms of USD pairs, I'm just not looking at them. I think NZUSD looks okay if it was to get back to that level of support. It's just I'm not too sure if we will. We've had this big descending channel on the way down. We've got massive level of support down there. I think that's still a nice place for a bounce. It's just that we've had the New Zealand news yesterday, and we kind of left that level in the dust a little bit. So unless we get back there again, we might not see the opportunity for the buy. But I think a double top would be a double bottom, sorry, would be a nice setup there. Just not too sure if we get back there. In terms of Aussie dollar, I want to see this one give me more downside anyway. I'm looking for a push into 0.64 at least. There is a level below us at 0.63. But the 0.64 level looks the best. And if we can get there, I think there'll be a nice place for a buy. Like I said, with the other USD pairs, the market's still very stretched. We're likely going to have a push to the upside. And coming back into a level like this one at 0.64, there's an area where we could see that bounce come into reality. So looking for Aussie dollar to fall down a little bit further. And then we can discuss some buys when we're there, some double bottoms, break and retest, break of structures. Looking for key patterns that say, okay, we're holding this and we're likely to turn. Don't just buy straight away, because the chances are we're probably going to get wicked out there. So I want some more evidence that we're gonna hold, and then we can see a buy. What's up, the ELF pound NZD? Okay, I'll have a look at that one. But yeah, for Aussie dollar, looking for a big bounce there. See if we can take it back into the highs and probably a lot further. But we'll call that when we get there for Aussie dollar. In terms of pound NZD, so I do like the buys of pound NZD, but the setup is still not quite there yet. I'm looking for buys around 2.125, which is this area of confluence. This is where I'm looking to see if I can find some entries to take advantage of a bounce of pound NZD. If you go to the daily chart, you can see why we've got these successive higher lows. One over there, second over there, third over there, fourth here, and potentially you've got the fifth bounce there as well. I'm not necessarily looking to take it back to the high. There's a possibility, but I know at least we can get bounce to that area if I see the right confirmations I'm looking for. So that's kind of really what I'm looking at there for pound NZD. At the moment, the market's kind of in a very slow corrective bearish trend here. Looks very ugly, I'm not going to lie, but we are slowly pushing down here. So if you're looking for some shorts, this is kind of the area you're looking to get involved at for another sell, because we've been so consistent with that. We've had probably about 6 or 7 tests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5 tests. But we could see a number 6 and maybe another 7 on the way down. If that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the bigger swing trade, the bigger buy, similar to what I'm looking at, then yeah, I'm waiting for price to push a little bit further down, and then I'm looking for some buys at this area, especially when you're seeing corrective markets like this. It's best just to wait for the extremes, price to push right back to a low, right back to a high. Anywhere else, it's not particularly great, especially for a pair like pound NZD. But yeah, that's really the setup I'm after with this one. Let me know what you're looking at, unless you're on the lower time frames looking for something else, because we're slowly moving down. You might find another short opportunity, before the buy, but that's just nothing what I'm looking at the moment. Looking for the buys, and similar to pound Aussie as well, which is partner in crime. Very similar pair to pound NZD. I think the buys here look good too, down at this area. Being pretty consistent with the higher lows on the daily chart. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as we keep up those higher lows, again, we're probably likely to see another bounce to the upside there as well. So bullish for pound NZD, bullish for pound Aussie at those areas. I don't necessarily expect them to get back to the highs and further, because the trends are still pretty corrective, and we've been failing at the highs here quite evidently there too. So it's not really a healthy bullish market, even though we have those higher lows, but we're trading at some areas where we can at least see a bounce and capitalize on that. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that on pound Aussie and pound NZD, but not really there yet. So going to the rest of the day, I'm just going to keep an eye on CAD Yen. There's not a lot for me to do. It's just really trading and seeing how far we can take the trade. Really, stops already trailed anyway, so now it's just up to the market until we put in the next major high. I'm not going to be looking to trail stops anyway. So until we do something like this is when I'll start looking to trail next. And yeah, I'm looking for additional trades. So hopefully a retest of 109.400 comes around. If it doesn't, I won't complain too much, because I do already have that trade there. But it would be nice to get an additional trade to really take advantage of the situation. If we are going to push down to 103, then a second trade will really just maximize the profits there. But we'll see what we can get. Don't want to force anything, of course, but the yen pairs is really where it's at right now for me anyway. So that's kind of where my focus will lie. I'll keep an eye on USD with news later on. Maybe some opportunities can present themselves later in the week or early next week, but I'm not really eager to trade the USD pairs at this moment in time. But if I do anything else, guys, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram or the Discord, so keep an eye on that. Link to both of them in the description below. If you have enjoyed the stream, guys, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will be live every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you guys are free, pop in, say hi. Outside of that, like I said, keep up to date with everything on the Discord and the Telegram. Links to both of them in the description below. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll hopefully catch you all tomorrow.